how you doing? Here is our next CinemaWins reaction video. This time sorry about that, a notification just went on, but we are doing The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is the only Spider-Man movie that actually has Spider-Man in it, not like Venom or Morbius or stuff like that. Okay, it is the only solo Spider-Man movie that I don't like, because I like all the other movies, but this is the one where I'm like, I wish I liked it. That's the frustrating thing. I wish I liked this movie. It's like every time I watch it, I think, okay, maybe I'll enjoy it, because this movie does have its fans. Maybe. I want to enjoy this movie. Because there are really good things about it. It does do some things right, but it also does a lot of things wrong. And it has a really messy plot, too, and there's so many things I don't like. And it's like, it balances out, where it's like, I half like it, but I half don't like it. Like, it's a 5 out of 10 because of that. And it's frustrating because I can see the story potential it has. I can see a good movie in there somewhere, but it just doesn't really reach it. So, yep. And I am really curious to see CinemaWins' video on this movie. Well, rewatch it, because yeah, it does have some good things. It's not devoid of quality, of course, but yeah, let's get this over with. Play.
This video has been brought to you by CuriosityStream.
Oh, 2 sponsors in a row. Cool. I've been wondering, like, am I ever gonna get sponsored? I don't know. If maybe, who knows? If my channel gets big enough, it feels tacky to like advertising something, and I get it. People do it so they can get money. I get it, but I don't know. Who knows? We'll see if it ever happens. Well, that Hans Zimmer music is really cool.
No offense, James Horner, but this is precisely what I expect from Hans Zimmer, improving upon and zeroing in someone else's score.
Yep.
That's Gwen Stacy death shadowing it. Bravo for making it the opening shot.
Wow.
You feel Star Trek Into Darkness's Dan Mindel behind the camera with the number of sliding Dutch tilts we get.
Oh, yeah.
A fast-paced flashback, cold open prologue, tilting the camera askew consciously or subconsciously alerts your brain to something important. In this case, that briefcase from the first movie.
Yeah. Why is this whole flashback here? Like, I really don't understand what was the purpose of showing us this. It's like I've seen the first movie. We all know that Richard Parker and Mary Parker, they both died in a plane crash. We know that Richard had something with Oscorp and he wanted to like bury it and all. We knew that already. And like, we have this video right here later on explaining the whole thing. So why did we need this opening flashback? It basically just tells us stuff we already know. It's like, okay, cool. Now we get to see the Parkers die in a plane crash. Okay. I don't think we needed to see that. Like, okay.
Thought that I'd have more time.
Oh man, if that ain't a motif for this movie, more on that later.
Yeah, and more time to develop some of these plot lines.
Here's that new Carol. Pretty action-packed and engaging opening for just a prologue, saying Spidey.
It looks a lot like a Bourne movie. Yeah.
Oh, that moment of realizing she's gone, so there's nothing left to save except the upload.
Okay, actually, can somebody explain to me?
Moment of realizing she's gone.
Is that possible? If you shoot one window, the other windows will like break. Is that accurate? I don't know. I'm no scientist. I'm really curious. Is that how that works? Because I really want to know. Like, I'm genuinely asking.
There's nothing left to save except the upload. Also, parallels of Richard losing the love of his life with Peter and Gwen, especially when the story is really about the sins of the fathers between Norman and Richard. Another little brain nudge to keep you thinking about bell towers.
Oh, this is awesome, though. That's such a cool
slick
transition.
To one of the coolest setups for web slinging.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then still upping the web slinging game. This time not first person, but Snorri Cam attached at a low angle to this brand new and improved suit.
Yep.
It's kind of him to announce his name to no one that can hear him, but come on, Paul Giamatti doesn't even care. I'll never be able to complain about it.
Sure.
Cordiality. Saving your future, but short-lived foe.
Yep.
New comic-accurate Spidey eyepieces allow more of Max's face in the reflection.
Oh, I haven't even talked about it.
Short-lived foe.
This Spidey suit. Oh, I love this suit, man. It's my second favorite live-action Spider-Man suit. I'll tell you later when I get to a later Spider-Man movie. But yeah, oh my gosh, it looks exactly. I'm not a comic guy, but I know what his comic costume looks like, and this looks exactly it. It is such a huge improvement over the last movie.
Oh, new comic accurate Spidey eyepieces allow more of Max's face in the reflection.
Oh, cool.
His Spidey sense knew that he needed a ride.
I know we all think that we're immortal. What makes it precious is that it ends.
So, you know I don't like anyone dying.
I mean, who does?
Really, but they weren't about to let anyone be too caught off guard. So there's your first Gwen gonna die hint. I know, the clock gear thing, but she dies falling off a bridge in the comics, so no one really knew what the bell tower meant. And fortunately, Peter can essentially freeze time now. It's not a knock, it's an exaggerated look at Spidey sense. He's moving in real time, his reaction time is just superhuman. And these slow-mo scenes are some of the best set pieces to come out of this series. Even a little mid-air kneeling.
Oh yeah, kind of Neo.
Boxers on Rhino while Spidey whistles his own theme.
Oh, that's cool. I never noticed the Rhino. Yeah.
If only Jim Parge hadn't moved to LA, Barker would have had a few more seconds.
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee is always a win, even when he's playing coy with graduation attendees. We know he knows everybody.
Yep.
This one is a pretty deep cut, but Spidey was sick the night Gwen died, so it's a reference that goes up on the board, or the thingy.
Oh, cool.
Peter sticks to everything, sometimes inadvertently, pretty much always lands.
No chimney.
What?
I'm cool with the way they build up Electro's fall. During the bodega robbery, you can actually hear him calling into a radio station claiming that
Sort of became best friends.
And now knowing he's all serial killer newspaper headline letter cutout / Nurse Betty / Brooke Shields from that one episode of Friends, CinemaWins, where we don't give you just one measly reference, we throw them all at you.
Okay.
Knowing that sets up his turn, plus electricity, you know?
Very much. Very not subtle. Yeah, So I understand what Electro's about. I understand, like, okay, Max is like a whole thing. He has a whole obsession with Spider-Man, and then he feels betrayed. It's like, I understand all of that. I get what they're going for. I just don't find him that compelling. I think my biggest problem with him is that I just don't find him that interesting. And so whenever he turns in Electro and he's fighting Spider-Man, I just don't really feel that much. I mean, his fight scenes are kind of cool, and his effects are cool, but it's also like, I just don't really care that much.
When you visit me, we're best friends.
No one ever said it had to be subtle.
Aces, Max. Aces.
Also the typical superhero voice that Max hears in his head, adding to the pedestal that he's put Spider-Man on. That's not what Peter sounds like, even when he's trying to hide his voice from Harry later on.
You like that, Spidey? I like it a lot, Max.
Yeah.
Here at Mint, we love green, and I'm excited to tell.
Hi, Ryan. How you doing? All right, anyway.
Maybe a cake?
And in my suit colors with lightning bolts and everything?
Should call you the Amazing Spider-Man.
Also, yeah, the idea is that Max is a little off, but you'd all be lying if you claim that you didn't have these two-sided conversations in your head, naming superheroes. No, they know you're not real. How should I know if they can hear you? Apparently, Peter got the eggs again since they are only lettuce sandwiches for breakfast.
Yeah, I remember that was the nitpick people had. I guess that explains it. And also, I remember seeing Birdman's video. Apparently, Spider-Man likes lettuce sandwiches for breakfast. That's okay. That is weirdest thing ever, but okay.
Show you who you really are.
Character actor feels like a dirty word sometimes, and I'll keep shouting out William Fichtner's solo movie, but Chris Cooper is one of the ones you just recognize. Conklin from the Bourne series, the homophobic dad from American Beauty, that guy in The Patriot. I know him, you know? I got the feeling he walked on set this day and nailed it in one take. See, told you he's still forgetting the eggs.
I love that too. Jameson's in the email, like, wrong! Just imagine J.K. Simmons' voice in there.
Also, good luck reading these J. Jonah subjects in a voice that isn't J.K. Simmons.
As soon as I say that, he says it too. It's amazing how lucky I am too. Sometimes when I say something, he says it. Like, I swear these videos aren't scripted.
Because you're special.
Smythe. I mean, Mr. Smythe.
Happy birthday.
Feels like Mark Webb really just wanted to sneak Ryan the Wunderkind into his movie with little to no reason, and so he did. And I'm pretty good with that.
Oh.
So, do these catwalks move themselves, or do the painting ghosts do it?
Happy birthday to me.
Get it? Because he's about to be reborn. Bursting
yeah.
out of a container of liquid. Too graphic. It's too graphic.
Yeah.
I love the evolution of Max's theme. So subtle and unassuming in the streets.
Oh, yeah, actually.
And more orchestral for his birthday.
That's actually really dope. Yeah. The way his theme. Yeah.
He tried to turn everyone in New York City into giant lizards.
Yeah, it was a weird plan, but he turned it all around by the end.
There's nothing to distract from your unibrow.
Yeah, well, it didn't stop him from dumping Sarah Lynn.
That's a question.
Yeah. Like, apparently these two are friends, but it's like, why wasn't Harry ever mentioned in the first movie? It's like, it comes out of nowhere, like, the way they handled it. Like, okay. It's weird, too, because Norman was kind of in the first movie. They, like, talk about him, like, how he owns Oscorp. They even set up in the first movie about how he's dying, and, like, that was the whole thing with, like, Kirk Connors was trying to build something to save him and all. So they could have had Harry in there. Why didn't they? Like, why did... It's weird how they did that.
Even Harry is confused. Peter's just a weird dude.
You can say that again.
Gwen Stacy.
Another Dutch tilt on Gwen's full name, since Peter would live to regret giving Harry that information. I don't know. You're either here for the dubstep or you aren't. I think I'm going with here for it. It's unique to Electro and it just works.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think people just got the wrong impression. It's not Raimi's trilogy. That was thick, deep-seated campiness. But it's also not Nolan Batman. We're still having fun here.
Yeah.
I like The Mirror.
The Mirror, hold on. Can I see that again?
Batman. We're still having fun here. I like The Mirror.
Oh, that's so funny. I never noticed that.
I know not everyone's a huge fan of Electro, but I feel like this is as close to an infamous movie as we'll ever get, so I have a soft spot for him.
Do not move!
I had the lyrics of the song. Yeah. That was kind of cool.
My Enemy from Hans Zimmer, Johnny Marr, and Pharrell Williams.
Pharrell
The lyrics
Williams?
are right from
Wow.
Electro's mind, paced exactly the way he'd be experiencing them. He must have seen Harry, Andrew do that on TV.
Oh, hold on. Is that a...
Paced exactly the way he'd be experiencing them. He
Oh, is that from Chronicle? Yeah, I remember that.
must have seen Harry, Andrew do that on TV. Yup, come on. Mid-air, sticks to the cop car, and then catches it while landing. Spidey should have his own Olympic sport. This look from Spider-Man acknowledging the metal running up the grates to the handrail, showing that he already knew these people were all in danger. That guy just named Max? No wonder he's so angry.
Oh, this scene was really cool.
Introducing
Why would you put an ad on one of the coolest scenes ever? Come on. Sorry, I gotta play that back.
That's a yup.
Yeah, just look at this. That is so cool.
Hate this movie as much as you need to, but I dare you to hate this sequence.
No, I don't hate it.
Also, the Spidey hero theme from the last movie is way more pronounced here, and it just makes you want to stand up and salute. Dubstep destruction.
Rubberized Spidey suit. That's why he didn't get electrocuted.
A reference to, but not the same physics kids from Peter's high school in the first movie. Unless they aged really quickly in 2 years and one changed ethnicity.
Oh, he didn't add a win for the bit where Peter shot water at Electro while wearing a fighter cap. That was pretty funny.
A piecing things together montage set to just the weirdest song choices. The fastest
Really
way
weird,
to,
yeah.
Well, mostly accomplish very little and get distracted by the girl you love.
Yeah, that's... Where did this scene come from, too? It just kind of came out of nowhere, like, right after Electro's fight, and it's like... This movie has a very similar problem with Spider-Man 3, where the plot really has no structure. Like, it really just kind of feels like one scene happens, and then another scene happens, and they all don't really relate to each other. Like, occasionally they do, but not very often. It's really weird how they structured it. Like, you can tell there's studio meddling, like, cramming in so much into a 2.5-hour runtime.
Well, mostly accomplish very little and get distracted by the girl you love. Desk display cube thing is a convenient win, but a sweet tech win nonetheless.
Yeah.
Ha! This movie is now a direct...
Dr. That says Morbius? Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my gosh, that is insane. I never noticed that before.
...to the Jared Leto living vampire movie coming out next year. I can't believe a guy with 2 subs could afford Dan Mindel to shoot his video. And attempting to insulate your web shooters montage set to Pursuit of Happiness is the fastest way to remind us of Project X. Remember Project X? The movie that made the Footloose remake a true story, since Miles Teller is a great dancer and also introduced us all to Miles Teller because no one saw Footloose.
Oh.
Anyway, Steve Aoki's remix of Pursuit of Happiness is always a win. Come on, just try not to get hyped.
No, I like it.
He can do everything else a spider can.
I know
Haha.
Dane DeHaan isn't most people's favorite, but the man can act. You tried delivering that line. And look, I don't think this is...
Oh, let me try it. Hold on. What was the line?
He can do everything else a spider can.
He can do everything else a spider can. I'm probably not a good actor.
Look, I don't think this is rude because Dane is clearly a good-looking dude, but do you ever wonder if they cast him simply because of his ears? I mean, he has a lot of Green Goblin stuff going on just through his genes.
I guess he does, yeah.
Emma Stone's audition for La La Land.
Oh, God! I'm so damn it!
See, this is exactly what I would use Spidey sense for. Perfect slapstick diversion time. Here's a thought. Decrease that closing pressure on your elevator doors there, Oscorp.
Yeah.
Of course you are. I never tire of the crazy scientists, whether played by Martin Sokas or John Glover or Catherine Hahn or Michael Sheen. You could say they all
get results. I always
okay.
Dubstep and classical music. Seems like it'd be a problem, but when it's an auditory representation of a battle between two characters, you get a win.
Sure.
Gotta give it up for Dive, a band interestingly not from Peter's Queens, but from Caps Brooklyn.
Oh.
You're my everything.
Oh, this is a nice
You
scene.
still stand out above the rest with these emotional moments. It's almost like a competition of who's more sincere. Peter's feeling off kilter, so the camera goes off kilter. Even when they're trying to be awkward, the chemistry is tangible. Like, you would feel uncomfortable to be around them in public, which is believable.
Yeah. And again, we all know this by now, but knowing that Andrew and Emma dated in real life definitely makes this chemistry all the more, feel the more authentic.
Home, Felicia.
Yeah, go home, Felicia. Or see you tomorrow, Felicia. Bon we, Felicia?
Apparently she's Black Cat in the comics, I know, and I guess they're setting her up for that, which, okay. Well, yeah, we haven't seen Black Cat in a Spider-Man movie yet, aside from this. That's the closest we got.
Fine. I know what you want to hear. Bye, Black Cat.
Yeah.
Bring your
Man,
vision
why are there
insurance
so
to stay
many ads this video? Let's feel like there's more than usual.
Like your father. The difference is, no one is going to miss you.
You know, I'm not sure I've ever wanted future Green Goblin to kill anyone more. That is the cadence of a win. Survey says, win.
Sure.
Gently. Fired.
And don't worry, he does. It just happens to be in a deleted scene that I'm not going to show.
Really?
Apparently the Parkers' business life didn't account for their love life.
What'd that say? Did that say hall pass?
I'm not going to show. Apparently the Parkers' business life
Yeah, it did say hall pass. Huh.
didn't account for their love life.
The human DNA that I implanted in the spiders was my own.
I know, the coincidence factor is off the
Yeah.
chart. Come on, that's a pretty cool reason for Peter to become Spidey.
I know a lot of people didn't like that. The idea that the movie makes it seem like Spider-Man was Peter was destined to become Spider-Man because only he could have been Spider-Man because it was, a Parker blood in the spider. I know a lot of people are upset about that because, like, the whole point of Spider-Man is that he could be anyone. Literally anyone could have been bitten by the spider and they become Spider-Man. That was, like, the whole point. So saying that, I know it. Yeah. I know people are upset about it, and it's like, yeah, I can see that.
Thing is as important to me as my son Peter.
Obviously, there's some plot important-ish info, but I sort of enjoy that the main purpose of this scene was letting Peter know that he was loved by his father, who was making a sacrifice for the greater good. The only thing Max really wanted, and it's a tad heartbreaking. Dubstep combo punch. Matthew Modine. Hear me out. Electro was in Any Given Sunday with Dr. Martin Brenner from Stranger Things, who was in Too Big to Fail with Dr. Manhattan, who was taught the rematerialization trick by Brenner, who had taught Electro a decade earlier, and then also time travel. Nailed it.
Oh, okay. I don't.
Also comeuppance.
Yeah. Very ironic.
Well, for starters, I have this hole in my chest. These are some stunning visual effects. The way Electro seems to burn in through thin air.
It looks really cool. Yeah.
Recalcitrant? Recalcitrant. Get out of here with your
recalcitrant, having an obstinately uncooperative attitude toward authority or discipline. Okay, learn something new every day.
Little electric finger. Also love that his music follows him out the door as if it's diegetic.
Cool.
Now that's an insane password. The characters change every time he touches the screen.
Oh.
What is all this stuff? The future.
We're just not going to be in charge of it. This one's going to be animated in a woman.
Yeah, with Olivia Octavius. Yeah.
The future.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about this. I really don't like that. The fact that they just have all this tech for all the Spider-Man villains just be made by Oscorp. Like, that's just so lazy. It's like, we know that Sony was trying to build the Sinister Six, but having it all just be right here is just like, why? Why would you do that? That's just, again, it just feels so lazy the way they were trying to do that. Like, they really wanted to build a Sinister Six, and this is the best they could come up with. Like, guys, no, that's, come on, you could have found something more creative to do that with. Like, and I'm repeating this from the last video. I want to say thank God the series stopped, but then again, it's so sad that we never saw Peter cope with Gwen until we got to No Way Home. So, yeah.
Gonna be in charge of it. This one's gonna be animated in a woman. This is some body horror stuff. Also love the implication that if he didn't make it to the suit, he'd be dead. And I can't lie, the Iron Goblin suit is pretty sick.
Nah.
Lady, I ain't even moving.
Good shade dodge. Hey, Gwen, yeah, that's great. Why don't you throw that green coat and purple skirt into the East River? Just a thought. It's titled It'll Carry Our Sorrows.
Yeah, I know that. Isn't that the same suit clothes she wears when she dies in the comics? Yeah.
I was out to see. Oh, good. She put on a blue one. Also, let's give them a little New York City respect. They're on top of the Manhattan Bridge, the bridge that is, in actuality, right next to the Brooklyn. No geographical cheating here.
Oh.
You're always gonna be my path.
Oof. It has such a sting to it, as if it's all inevitable. There's no outcome where she doesn't die because she can't escape him.
Oh.
It actually makes Peter sound terrible.
Yeah, it kind of does. No, it's like I did talk about with the last movie about how it's weird how they had Peter like go back on Captain Stacy's promise immediately. I wish they would have saved that until this moment. Like, wait for this moment where Peter eventually decides, screw it, screw Captain Stacy, I'm staying with Gwen. Because then that makes Gwen's death later on more heartbreaking because Peter goes back on Captain Stacy's promise by trying to get Gwen involved, and then that's what causes Gwen's death. Makes Peter feel more guilty. So that's what I think.
I choose you.
There's something sort of poetic about Gwen and Peter's last truly happy moment alone together where they tell each other how they really feel is at the spot she dies in the comics. Depending on whether you only look at pictures in comic books or actually read the captions.
I'm just gonna follow you everywhere.
I can't believe we never got The Amazing Spider-Man 3 Far From Home.
Yeah, I mean, we got Andrew in No Way Home, and that whenever Andrew's on screen, that movie is very much Amazing Spider-Man 3, so there's that.
Like the Ripper.
The Amazing Spider-Man 3 webbing up Jack the Ripper Far From Home.
Yeah, I noticed.
Another ad.
My son.
My gosh. Come on, skip.
Ooh, little Electro step off in the distance. I'm sorry. I know not everyone likes it, but they're internally consistent with its usage. Spidey's sensory overload. Apparently that was a genuine mistake made by Emma, and it just worked.
Pretty funny that she didn't say yell Andrew instead of Peter. Like, huh, how nice.
Hard, yep. Wait, is this forced perspective or is Electro super tiny here? I'm going with tiny, which is fantastic. Who said you had to stay at full size?
Okay.
Be like a god to them.
Not until you put your true colors on. Spidey logo.
Oh, that's cool.
Electro vomit.
And it's a Bitsy Spider. Yeah.
Steps it. Look, wouldn't you be totally distracted if your opponent was making music as misdirection to sneak up and punch you? That's what I thought.
I hate this song.
Yeah, I get it.
Saving the guy who gets you killed.
Nobody makes my decisions for me. All right? Nobody. This is my choice.
Again, I appreciate that they're going out of their way to give Gwen agency in her own death. There's just this little part of me that's hearing and seeing Julia Roberts yelling to Patrick Bergen that she needs to be punished for the towel misalignment.
Oh.
If you overcharge a battery.
Even the accidents in our experiments could be used for good. This is
cool.
The dude just wanted a friend and clearly had some mental deficiencies.
Yeah, no, like poor Max, yeah.
It's a cool pseudo-death regardless. I have to imagine there's like a heading or altitude change that's specific to every pilot so that in the event of a communication blackout, no two planes would ever collide. And if not, there should be. Less of a win, more of a shower thought. Give me money, FAA, I guess. Whatever, the Green Goblin design for Harry.
I like how I had a win for that. Oh yeah, what were they thinking with that design? That looks so ugly.
Is terrible in a good way. They went gross, campy.
When you said Spider-Man said no, you meant you said no.
That's just bad. You can try to twist it so it makes sense, but that's clearly from another version of that scene where Peter delivered Spidey's message instead of Spider-Man in person. Peter only said this.
I'm gonna try and find Spider-Man.
And it doesn't make sense. I assume they ran out of time to fix it with ADR, which, like, they could have dubbed this. He has a mask on.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to Peter. He'll get back to you. Fixed it.
Oh, he removed the win for that. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of forced the way Harry figures it out.
Harry is dead.
No, I actually want to say this now. I really don't like Harry in this movie because, oh my, his whole storyline is really stupid. Like, it's like you have that whole thing where Harry is dying and he really wants Peter to save him because Spider-Man's blood and all that, the way they explain it. Okay, sure. And then Peter decides, no, I'm not going to save you because the blood might hurt you. Okay, fair enough. But Peter, you're a genius. You're a science geek, fine. Why don't you do a blood test? Why don't you figure out, is the blood poisonous? Would it harm Peter? And then, like, you're best friends too. Like, why would you let your friend die? Like, it's such a contrived way to get Harry to hate him, you know? Like, it's...
Gotta give Gwen props for not even showing an ounce of fear. There's a reason she's Spider-Gwen in other universes. I hate it. I truly hate it. I hate that she dies, period. I hate that a new villain to the universe is responsible rather than a longtime foe.
No, I hate that. No, Gwen's death is heartbreaking, but I really don't like that Harry causes it. Like, this villain of all... It's such a lame one, too. Like, come on. But, yes. No. Oh, I don't want to watch this again. No Gwen dying, because... No, that's a really heartbreaking scene.
I hate that it feels unearned and slightly undeserved.
It does, yeah.
But, thematically, we've been leading here all movie. Everyone just needs more time. Richard Parker.
I always thought that I'd have more time.
Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn.
Yeah, I just wish I had time for adventure.
Electro. Gwen even understood something about it that no one else did.
Time is luck.
Even Peter.
We just need a bit more time.
Who spends the movie almost controlling time like a clock stopper with his spidey sense. Always having just enough to succeed.
On that hand,
end of
the
Gwen's
web.
life, Peter tries so hard to gain just a little more time. He tries to even stop time, but breaks it in the process. Breaks the clock and he breaks Gwen.
The way her head hits the concrete. That is brutal.
Super hidden or subtle theme, but it's a through line that starts right in the opening shot. I said it wasn't subtle, but I don't know. The hand reaching out, it gets me. Feel the desperation from Peter so much that his machine becomes an extension of his grasp.
Yeah.
Also, that's insanely brutal.
Why would you play that again?
One more nod to the comic, The Amazing Spider-Man 121, the night Gwen Stacy died with the time on the clock. At the very least, this is way up there as one of the best and most painful examples of the sacrifices Spider-Man has to make to be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's really...
Okay. Oh, man. Andrew's acting in that scene. It's so good, man. I'm trying to think. Most heartbreaking scene in any Spider-Man movie? Maybe, because... I would say number 2 would be Aunt May's death in No Way Home. That was definitely hard to watch, but man. But that one felt more earned, but this one is a bit more painful because Peter like loses his dadgum girlfriend, and it's like, man. Again, he tries everything he can to save her and fails. Like, man. And now we know in No Way Home that he never recovered from this, and he ended up stopped pulling his punches and got angry, and it's like yeah, it's like for everything I don't like about this movie, they do get something. There's definitely some drama here around Gwen that I really like.
The most painful examples of the sacrifices Spider-Man has to make to be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just this scene that was trying to set up more movies.
Yeah.
Sadly, movies we'll never see.
And who is this guy? We never find out because they never made another one.
But I really see this as tasteful teasing.
You must promise me that you will hold on to hope.
Gwen being the catalyst to re-inspire hope in the guy who's supposed to give everybody else hope is such a satisfying ending to her story, even if it's at best bittersweet. That kid may actually be Spider-Man the way he slipped through the cops. And just in case you didn't remember, he is the windmill kid that Spidey inspired earlier with, you guessed it, hope.
Yeah, I remember that.
I get it. It even alleviated my sad feelings. Obviously, they had to do it for the kiddos. Awesome shot, but stupid ending. Especially as the teaser from the trailer.
Oh my gosh, I hated that. Like, that was such a cool scene at the end of a trailer. Turns out that's the end of the dadgum movie. Like, why would you do that marketing?
Let's call it a draw to end on.
Yeah.
Originally, I had this lined up for the release of Far From Home, but things got shuffled around, and I know a lot of you have been clamoring for this one, so I didn't want to disappoint. I think those of you who love it might be surprised to know that you're not alone. I honestly don't remember my reaction the first time I saw it, other than to Gwen's death, which upset me, surprise.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I do think this movie gets a way worse rap than it deserves. It's got issues.
Very much.
My biggest complaint is that it's both rushed and drawn out at times. The finale is extra long, but it's because they dragged a bunch of B-plots into the power outage, like the planes and Aunt May's nursing school where she's in charge for some reason.
Yeah, like, that was so weird with the planes. Like, would it have been more... Well, it would have been better if they had Aunt May in the plane, like, she leaves New York for some reason. Like, that would have been more... It would have felt more tense, like she's in the plane and we're afraid, like, oh no, the plane's going to crash into each other. Or hope she's going to be fine. Hope they can get the power on in time, you know? Like, come on. And yeah, her being a doctor at the hospital, like, what was that about? Like, it just kind of... They talk about it a couple times. We see it here, and it's like... What was the point of that? Like, I don't really know. Why?
All right, we're back. Everyone, let's go.
I think at least one of them should have been left on the cutting room floor.
I mean, I just suggested a solution about cramming them together, and I think it would have worked well.
Turns into Green Goblin quick
yes.
after Electro is dispatched, and then immediately kills Gwen, which leaves a strange, unearned moment taste in the mouth.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Gwen's death isn't about the villain. It's about Peter.
It is.
So that in and of itself is okay, but Gwen's death is also bizarrely rushed, even though it's technically the climax of the movie. I'm not saying they weren't clearly building towards it, just that she dies and that's it. Peter doesn't want to be Spidey for a minute, and then he watches her speech about hope and he's good to go.
No, actually. No, Lee has a good point here, because, yeah, the way they rush it, it's so weird. Like, like he said, Gwen dies, Peter feels sad, he stops being Spider-Man, listens to his speech, and then he's back to Spider-Man again. Like, what? Like, what happened? Like, it's like that. It feels like that was a whole movie that they just crammed into, like, what, 5 minutes? Like, it's so weird.
I'm not sure if it was a we'll expand on sad Peter next movie type situation, let's end on a high note, or just a total lack of ideas on how to kill Gwen and then end the movie at the same time. Bit of both, I assume. The biggest flaw was the Rhino teaser shot from the trailer staying a teaser shot in the movie. It's a little offensive, even if it was just the trailer house's decision.
Right.
I know everyone else was mad about the Sinister Six setup as well, but it didn't take anything away from the movie. Electro was our main baddie, while...
Well, it didn't. And yeah, I was trying to think about that. The Sinister Six, did it take anything away from the movie? Not really.
Harry was the supervillain, even if he only transformed in the last 15 minutes. There was a time I would have bet money that Mark Webb would have preferred to end the movie with Gwen's death, and the studio laughed in his face, which is why the Rhino scene feels tacked on and out of place. I would have been wrong, since he and all the writers felt like they couldn't end there. I'm not saying it would have been a smart move or that people wouldn't have lost their minds, but pull this movie out of the larger universe it exists in, and I think that's the right call as a standalone story. Without another movie, it makes this an even more tragic duology, but still the more appropriate ending. My ending would have been no Rhino on screen at all, just Peter picking up his mask and walking out of his bedroom door with one last blur out Mindell Dutch tilt. End on hope, not quips.
I ask you to put your mechanized paws in the air.
I like that suggestion. I want to see that again. I really like that suggestion, ending the movie like that.
Hope, not quips.
Yeah. Set up the supposed next movie a lot better.
But I'll admit that this ending is probably truer to a comic story, right down to the cliffhanger. It's not a huge deal, and like I said, it does allow you to walk out not feeling like a puddle of emotions. Hope, one way or another. Alright, enough of what people didn't like. Tom Holland is amazing, don't get me wrong.
He was.
There's a confidence that Andrew Garfield has as Spider-Man that really neither Tom nor Tobey had/have. I'll happily eat my words after Far From Home if I'm wrong, and maybe Homecoming was just a gaining confidence episode. But Garfield in this movie is how I read Spider-Man in my head. I don't even think it's a difference in acting skill level. Garfield was allowed to be the man, whereas we're constantly awing Tom Spidey in some ways. Both work, personality differences mostly, I think.
Right.
The other thing I'll defend is the goof factor. Like I said, it's not Raimi's level of camp,
it's
but
not.
Spidey in a fireman's hat? Light my candles? Everything a spider can? They weren't making Pride and Prejudice unless you had zombies. I feel like critics expected a darker take because we'd already had Supreme Camp. But that wasn't the intention. I love it. It works. It's funny.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's not make everything dark and gritty. Like, I love the Dark Knight trilogy and all, but not everything needs to be the Dark Knight trilogy. Yeah, looking at you, Fans Four Stick.
God save the Queen.
I don't think anyone would complain about the visuals. The occasional musical choice? Maybe. But visuals, from the occasionally obvious cinematography, shot composition and framing to visual effects and super slow-mo, it's all super tight.
Yeah.
Even the web slinging is on par with our current Spidey, if not even more entertaining in places. I know some people have problems with Garfield's Parker still, and I get it. He's still a little too smooth. But the chemistry between Emma and Andrew is pretty on point.
It is, yeah.
And that was a large part of the reason they got away with jumping to the night Gwen Stacy died died so quickly. Their relationship felt real, partially because it was. So even if the story or history or longevity of either didn't exactly earn it, the characters did. And obviously Garfield sold it. In some ways, I'm sad we'll never get to see this Peter Parker on the big screen dealing with the death of his first love.
Well, we did, thankfully, in No Way Home. Well, kind of, because they kind of skipped over a bit, but you know, we understood why. And oh man, that scene where he saves MJ at the end of that movie, calling back to, man, oh, I can't wait to get to Lee's video on that movie.
At the same time, I'm totally cool with them not doing that to Holland Parker. So how am I going to?
Another dang ad! Stop it, YouTube! Stop it!
Avoid the comment section of this video. I need to go see Far From Home before I publish. I mentioned that this movie is just a train heading towards her death, but it actually started with Captain Stacy's warning and the promise that Peter broke. I just think that speaks to the vision from Mark Webb and his literal team of writers, which again makes me sad we don't get to see where they were going. But alas, we have a whole new Spidey now, and he's pretty much kicking butt around the world. And if you've seen Far From Home already, and you're caught up on all my Spider-Man Everything Great About videos, and you just need a spider fix, today's sponsor, Curiosity Stream, has a
skip.
But I look for
kind of another ad. 129 jokes from your pay scale.
If it was 1961, you paid me for a wage. Just don't call me late for dinner, you get it?
Alright, and that was the video on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yep, I like it. I really like how he does occasionally acknowledge there are issues with the movie. I really like that whenever Lee does that, and he definitely did it here, talking about how some things felt rushed and some things felt drawn out, because, yeah, that is definitely an issue with this movie. Because, yeah, I do I want to say like it, not really, because there are so many problems I have with it, but there are lots of things I like about this movie that do save it from being a bad movie, in my opinion. But it's still, I would still rather watch it than any of the Venom movies or any of the Sony Spider-Man movies where Spider-Man isn't in there and it's just focusing on the villains, weirdly enough. Like, I would rather watch this over those. So it does have plenty of good things about it, but it definitely has some bad things too. It's a complicated movie. So, but at least I do appreciate this movie a little bit more too now, since Andrew popped up in No Way Home as well. So, yep, that'll be all for now. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Peace.